chop all these siege tanks now. Those drones really desperately trying to run for their lives. There's Wednesday Night
vVv gaming. So we'll see if the same thing happens. Time able to do some huge damage here, already taking down 2 players, hoping to make it 3-1.
Yeah, so MLG Test Bug, one of the maps that only has 3 spawning locations. I believe Time is pretty well versed on this map. We'll see how Chance plays on this map. Time playing a lot of the MLG maps just because of Wednesday Night Starcraft. And I don't know Test Bug enough to know whether or not he could go for an interesting Void Ray push or some interesting timing pushes. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's definitely an option. The expansion can be easy to take if you wall off, if you plan on doing that. But I think from Time we've seen some interesting one-base play. Obviously he expanded in that Metalopolis game, but I think that was in reaction to his initial attack failing, or at least not doing a ton of damage. But I guess the other thing to note here is that Time, again, we've mentioned, is a big ladder player, and this is not a ladder map, so he probably gets a lot of practice on the normal Blizzard maps. And I'm not really sure if Chance practices this MLG map pool as well. So both players might be a little bit unfamiliar with this map pool. Obviously Time's played it a few times on Wednesday Night Starcraft, but that does not make you an expert.
Yeah, thinking about this, maybe Chance purposely chose MLG Test Bug just because he knows that his opponent is not going to be able to come out with those interesting timing pushes and those interesting, almost cheesy but not quite styles of play. Normally you don't want to try anything new in a best of 1 series on a map that you are not very familiar with. Things can happen, units can get stuck, things may take longer to get where you want them to go, and that really does throw a wrench in the works as we see a spawning pool already coming into play. I believe that was a 10 pool or an 11 pool, so that's a rather early spawning pool coming in from Chance.
Yeah, so we will be able to get Lings out pretty quickly here, and we'll see if he adds a gas to try to get some speed and really take these towers, control the flow of information in the early going. I think the cheesy builds, or however you refer them to, can be interesting because your opponent, when you scout that early gas, when you scout the Forge, when you scout the Void Ray or the Stargate, you really don't know what you're going to be dealing with. Or even if you can surmise what your opponent's going for, you've never played that against that before on the ladder, so you don't really know how to react. So many of these players are, ladder warriors, they play so many games, and they're used to all these builds, so I think coming out with unique builds, maybe even cheesy builds, can be a real strength here in the best of 1 type series that these can be versus, your opposing team.
Yeah, currently we see vVv Time still running off of 1 base, getting up his 2nd gas already. It doesn't look like he will be expanding anytime soon. Meanwhile, Chance able to pick off that scouting probe and already setting up a hatchery over here at his natural expansion. And it looks like he'll be able to transfer some drones in just about another minute or so. The Zerglings looking to deal some damage. 1 Zealot being trained, and this is a little bit strange. There is no front door seal or where the Zealot can try to hold off against a large number of Zerglings, and this is going to be really, really bad news as a probe now needs to join in on the fight. Is he going to join in, or is he going to let the Zealot die? We do not know.
It looks like Chance trying to poke up the ramp now and get a nice spread on those Zerglings, and he's going to be getting a lot of information. Perhaps could even focus down a few probes here, and now doing a little bit of micro, trying to take down that 1 Zealot with these 4 Zerglings there, but that Zealot does survive just by 24 hit points, so don't think that was a real smart move by Chance. He could have taken down a probe or 2, gotten all the information that he really needed as Time came out that Stalker, and really there was a ticking clock on those 4 Zerglings.
Yeah, the Stalker being chrono boosted out, getting it 10 seconds faster, very, very important by Time. Time getting 3 kills on the Stalker. The Zealot did the majority of the damage, took the majority of the damage, but the Stalker with that range able to get some kill steals there as the Zerglings now wandering around, perhaps trying to look for any proxy pylons and trying to get more scouting information. It looks like Chance is moving over with an Overlord, and it will be able to come into the natural expansion location in just a moment. By the time it gets there, that expansion will already be up and running with some probes most likely transferred over.
Yeah, the other nice thing about this map for Zergs is there are so many high ground portions here that you can just place Overlords. You can really get map control with the towers, all 4 of them in the center of the map, and with good Overlord positioning, as we see Time going for a 1 gate expand with 2 gas. So pretty risky build if Chance had the right build order, but he doesn't have speed, just now starting it as he is a little bit late on his gas, and I think Time will be able to get up this expansion.
Yeah, that expansion will go up. We are now getting that warp gate research, so 1 gate expansion against another fast expanding Zergling. Chance just dancing around with those Zerglings, but it doesn't look like he really knows what Time is going for, and I think it is just because that it's a stranger opening that Chance doesn't want to try to commit to anything at all. It looks like he will be trying to power drone his way through, now going into 3 extractors, and we are going to see a very, very high level of tech play.
Yeah, the lair coming up right now as he does see his opponent fast expanding. And again, you can either try to take a third or you can try to go for a tech play off of 2 base. And it looks like he's coming out with a ton of drones. He's feeling safe at the moment. Time, now that warp gate is finished, could actually invest in some units and really push out with those sentries and do some damage if he chooses. But it looks like he will be just playing defensive at this point. He has a forge up as well, starting the +1 weapon upgrade. Again, a popular weapon upgrade in this matchup makes Zealots 2-shot those Lings unless they're upgraded themselves.
Yeah, as soon as we see what the tech path Chance does try to go for here on this matchup, we'll have a better idea. He can either easily go for Mutalisk very, very strong on a large map like this, as Time is looking to play off of 2 bases for quite some time. And if I was Chance right now and seeing what I'm seeing with all of these Zerglings and how just well fortified Time is sitting in his base and how happy he is, I would try to take another expansion, either this high ground expansion here at the 9 o'clock location, or even this gold expansion here. It does have rich Vespian geysers, and the way it looks by Chance is going for a very, very heavy gas army.
Yeah, it looks like he's getting that infestation pit up, is about to finish, so we will be able to afford the upgrade immediately. And then by the time the upgrade gets to about 30 game seconds and he wants to start his infestor production, he's going to have enough gas for 4 or 5 infestors. So infestors do quite well against sentries and zealots and these opening gateway units. If you can get some fungal growths on those sentries, it really neutralizes their ability to get out those force fields. As we see, the energy on the 6 sentries very high at this point, so a lot of force fields possible for Time. But again, Time playing quite defensively. He wants to wait for Blink. He is getting out an observer and just finish up that +1 upgrade.
He also has nearly maximum energy on those sentries that you mentioned earlier, and going for that robotics bay. So if he does try to push out, he may be able to corral and pack all of those Zerg units tightly together, and then just try to destroy them with Colossus. The key question will be also, will the infestors get that Neuroparasite upgrade? Neuroparasite able to take control of a Colossus 10 seconds, and that's all you really need in order to turn the tide of a battle. You get a +6 food unit, your opponent loses +6, a lot of splash damage, and that can just completely turn the tides, as we see 6 infestors will be hatching up in just a second.
Yeah, nicely timed with that the energy upgrade, and we see Chance getting up his 3rd, and he was able to tech up and get a 3rd at a decent time here. So I think he's looking very strong. He's at 56 harvesters compared to the 45 of Time, and unless Time has a strong timing that he's worked out and really practiced before, I think at this point he is quite far behind Chance. Chance is really going to be able to slow down the army of Time with those fungals, as we see a lot of Lings who don't have any upgrades as they're about to finish the 1-0 upgrade, and Chance going for a timing here once that does finish.
Yeah, so the Zerglings are going to be trying to come in, and there are a lot of infestors in the back. We may get some fungal growth there. There you go. And it may be chain fungal growth. So chain fungal growth is going to destroy all of those sentries. And as soon as all the sentries are gone, the Colossus and the whole entire strategy of Time may simply fall apart. The infestors now desperately need to run away, dropping some infested Terrans, but perhaps blocking their own path as well, as the infested Terran now trying to fire back. It looks like the Stalker has dealt enough damage, and the infestors now will be able to retreat home. But the only real important story here is all the sentries were taken down. That is a very heavy gas investment, and I think Time's timing push will have to be reset.
Yeah, he took down all those sentries and only lost 1 infestor. I mean, at this point, Zerglings are sort of like Kleenex. You just use them and throw them away. You're on 3 bases. You've got your injects going. You can really afford to use those Zerglings and just throw them away. But you have to protect those infestors. If Time was able to take down 3 or 4 infestors there, it would have really limited what Chance was able to do as the game progresses here. But Chance was able to keep his mana users alive, and then the energy users, the sentry of Time, just got taken down. So Time going to have to reset, as you mentioned, that timing attack, adding 3 gateways, actually 5 gateways coming in for Time. So going to try to macro up here and push out in just a few moments, I imagine.
Yeah, it looks like Time realizes how badly that battle went, and he really just wants to try to push out with as much of an army as he can. He does have a decent amount of minerals, but he's going to quickly spend them all. He is running off of 2 bases, 6 gateways, 1 robotics facility, still training up a Colossus, and then getting contaminated there as the units now moving into the midfield with no observer in order to shut down these creep tumors.
Yeah, the Colossus do have the range upgrade, so... But again, it's going to be very difficult to engage here as Time pushing forward, and chAnCe going to be waiting for his opportunity, waiting for his chance to try to take down Time. And trying to get a flank here. Fungals will be going off on both the Stalkers and the Colossi. The Colossi trying to get focused down by the few roaches here that we do see. But Time doing a nice job focusing down those infestors. And I think at this point he's gotten his money's worth out of this attack, taking down all those lings and the infestors, and now blinking after these roaches, and chAnCe looks like he's in trouble as Time is able to reinforce off these pylons he created in the center. Now we'll be taking on the spine crawlers as well as the last few units of chAnCe, but at this point chAnCe coming out with a ton of roaches. He's got corruptors on the field as well, trying to focus down the Colossi. 3 Colossi doing their best to support these stalkers. The 1 immortal in here as well will make quick work of that spine crawler as well as these roaches, and now drones having to be pulled for chAnCe, and this is going to be quite the turnaround as Time completely took this game, stole it from chAnCe here.
Yeah, just Time continuing the pressure, drones now falling left and right. All the corruptors in the air have finished all the Colossi, but without any Colossus to try to take down, only Zerglings are going to be effective, and now Time just using that blink absolutely beautifully, trying to save any low hit point Stalker, and now 20 Stalkers continuing. We are going to snipe down the Spire over there, the Corruptor still in the air, as the Stalkers continuing to push back and forth. Taking a look at the worker kills, 20 versus 3 now, as the Harvester count, 55 drones versus 44 probes. Units are still funneling in, units are still being reinforced, as it looks like Time has once again found the right timing in order to push against chAnCe.
Yeah, we do have 3 infestors coming out. They'll finish in 30 game seconds, and we've got quite a few lings, 20 lings, and a few more on the way, but Time just doing so much damage here. And we often talk about him as a relatively low APM player, often sitting in the 100 range, at the average here he's at 108, but during that battle, and even right now, spiking up into the low 200s, the mid 200s, doing beautiful there with his control, blinking back those Stalkers, now doing a ton of damage to the drone line once again, and chAnCe has to take this opportunity to move in here with these Zerglings, doing the best that he can. The Infestor gets a fungal down on these Stalkers, but at this point, just too much firepower for Time, and a GG from chAnCe.
Yeah, that was a really just a steal of a game by Time. chAnCe gave Time a chance, and Time took it and was able to just win this game. It looked like Time didn't have enough of an army. Instead of just deciding to macro up and try to get back in the game, he trying to train up more probes, he just built 6 gateways, 5 gateways, and just warped them all in.